Warnings. That's what today's show is about. Now, recently I warned you about big real estate's predatory mining of you and your data, specifically targeting you first-time homebuyers. Shady stuff. But there's more stuff to look out for. I mean, most of you, when you go online, you're just trying to do some research, get some guidance for this whole process. Perhaps you're looking for a step-by-step instruction manual that you can follow. Well, I hate to be the bearer of more crappy news, but today I'm going to reveal to you the hidden underlying intent of all of those step-by-step lists that you find online. There is a shady underlying intent, and that leads to dangerous misinformation, and that can take your planning in the completely wrong direction. This is a red flag episode.
How to Buy a Home educates, protects, and connects first-time homebuyers to qualified vetted realtors in their area. Whether you're looking for DIY information or step-by-step guidance, How to Buy a Home is the #1 resource for first-time homebuyers.
What's happening, How to Buy a Home is I'm still David Sidoni, and I've been coaching and supporting first-time homebuyers for 20 years. And for the last 7 years, I've been spilling the insider secrets right here on this podcast. The biggest dirty little secret in real estate is how appalling the current system royally screws over first-time homebuyers. You deserve so much more than what the industry is giving you right now. Now, with the power of this podcast, we've educated and empowered tens of thousands of renters and turned them into homeowners, and we're bringing the power back to where it finally belongs with you, the people. This revolution is in full force. But don't get drunk with power. We also have to make sure that you're protected. We got to make sure that you're wary of the dangers lurking. This big real estate machine, they want to keep you down. They want to maintain the status quo. But there are signals, red flags, things that you can spot so you can defend yourself. Now, at first, a lot of these, they might not be very easy for you to see. Not bright red flags yet. But once you see them, you can't unsee them. And you'll be able to avoid them and find the best path for you. We're going to get into the secret and then the secret within the secret. Now, I bet in your research, when you've been trying to figure out this whole home buying process, I'm sure that you've run across several of those first-time home buyer lists, the step-by-step guides. And they've all got catchy headlines, the 5 secrets you need to know before you buy a house, or the 7 things that all first-time home buyers must know. Gang, I have a confession right now. I hate these lists for you. You deserve so much more. Most of these lists are predatory BS. You see, the true, very shady intentions, they are so glaringly obvious to anyone who understands how people make money in the real estate industry. And now, I'm going to spill the tea. I'm going to share it with you. And now it's going to be obvious to you too. Some of these steps that they put in these lists, of course, they're going to be partially correct. But 99% of these simplistic lists, which are written with their catchy headlines first, born in the age of short attention spans, they have neon red blinking flags. The deal is they're designed to attract your attention, not educate. They're facades to conceal sales tactics. They are incomplete, and so they give you some of what you need to know with the promise to reveal everything else to you in a free webinar or a class, or, of course, just give them a call for all the details. So today I'm going to show you exactly how these sneaky sales techniques, how they show up in all these lists. I'm going to show you what's really going on so you can confidently explore and research, and you can look at all your options. Hopefully you'll come to the point to realize that you want to hire a great real estate support team dedicated to the coaching and education first, the things that first-time homebuyers need, so you can create your own complete, personal, custom, and bespoke step-by-step plan, one that best fits you and your goals, not the goal of the company producing these devious lists. So I went online, I found 3 very popular first-time homebuyer lists, and I saw all the secrets inside them. They were from Zillow, Best Money, and NerdWallet. We'll review everything about them, the good, the bad, and the straight-up sketchy. But first, let me start with an overall red flag warning for something that I see on tons of other educational lists. I'm sorry, I should have put educational in air quotes. These are the lists you're going to see from other realtors and lenders out there. Now, if you see a list that is supposed to get you the simple answers that you've been looking for, but the very first step they say to buying a home is take my class, download my PDF, or come to my free webinars where I answer all your questions, Now, homies, I know that most of you are smart enough to know what happens when you give your information to someone who the very first thing that they ask you to do is to sign up so they can collect your info. Yeah, you get the spam avalanche. This is the oldest trick in the real estate playbook. It's just they figured out a way to do it online. Obviously, this is a not so subtle technique used to capture clients. That's the word they use, capture. These are not true educational resources. You're being hunted, so protect yourself. Don't sign up for anything if that's the very first thing they ask you to do. Buying a home is scary, overwhelming, and emotional, and they know this. We live in a world where information is everywhere, so in your research, look for resources that educate you first. Your trust in sources, it's got to be earned, not force-fed as step one. That's not education, that's sales. Alrighty, let's get to these 3 lists from Zillow, Best Money, and NerdWallet. The step-by-steps. Zillow's number 1 step, check your credit score. Cool, practical step, but not the first one. Best Money's number 1 is prepare your finances. Oh, shocker. This is the number 1 step from the website that's selling financial services. And NerdWallet's number 1, it's decide if you're ready financially and life readiness. Now, I got to tell you, I don't know if I should be flattered or upset that NerdWallet and frankly, several other publications, back in 2024, they suddenly changed their number 1s to decide if you're ready. Happened to be 1 year after the first time that I officially published Decide as the best number 1 step for first-time homebuyers. But you know what? Hey, as long as everyone's getting the correct information, I'm good with it. Now, before I go into the red flags that I see from the rest of the steps, 2 through 5 and 8 and 10, let's go over why number 1 should be deciding. Well, first of all, if you're thinking of your planning to buy a home as a journey, then deciding that you want to take a step, that's kind of essential in any journey. If you don't have a clear direction with your first step, you're going to end up walking around aimlessly. And in 2026 and 2027, this new generation of home buyers, they're facing challenges their parents and grandparents never had to deal with. No longer is buying a home a natural step in your adulting evolution. So today, before you get started, you have to dig deeper to figure out what path is going to work for you. And deciding first is going to create what I call, well, not just me, but a whole bunch of people talk about it, your big why. This is essential because buying your first home is so emotional that it's imperative that the first thing you do is you build a strong and deep foundation based on reason and logic. You're going to need it to keep your head and your budget straight. Without your firm decision and your firm conviction in your why, these other lists might throw you off course. I mean, if they tell you to start with credit score and you find a limitation there, or finances and you find an imperfection there, that might stop you right in your tracks, which means you could wait months or years before you get to step 2. And that's not in your best interest, and it's going to cost you big money. So start with your purpose, something you can fall back on. It's going to be your North Star to keep you going. You're going to need motivation and resolve, especially in 26 and 27. And deciding first, that's going to increase your determination and your optimism. The goal isn't to buy a home tomorrow. The goal is today, you'd like to start your best personal journey with a decision that you're working towards this accomplishment that you want, and you'd like to go towards it with a purpose. Now, I know, maybe this sounds cheesy to you, but you know what? The emotions of buying a home are no joke. Some of you are going to need this foundation, and you're going to need it in a big way to help keep you grounded. And for others of you, if you're looking at this whole home purchase thing less emotionally and you're looking at it more analytically, it's going to benefit you too. Deciding your why, it's a more thoughtful approach, both emotionally and mathematically. It creates clarity in your journey and provides you the power in the process. And that is where you discover the most financially beneficial path for you to take. And by the way, you analytical types out there, don't say I didn't warn you, because eventually you're going to have to live in this analytical purchase. So yeah, emotions, they're going to be a part of this even if you don't think so. If you'd like more details on the vital first step, decide, it's episode 401. We'll put it in the show notes. Zillow's next steps are figure out how much you can afford. Step 3, get pre-approved. Step 4, find a real estate agent, your realtor. And step 5, go house hunting. And best money, their list goes like this. Number 2 is to define needs and wants. Number 3 is to get a pre-approval. Number 4 is to hire a realtor. And number 5, start your house hunting. And NerdWallet, they took my number 1, decide. Their number 2 is get your finances in order. Number 3, determine your budget. Number 4, save for a down payment in your closing costs. Number 5, choose a lender. Number 6, get pre-approved. Number 7, find your realtor. And number 8, start house hunting. Well, looks like there are some pretty significant variances in the order of these steps, and I only chose 3. Now, all of these could work, but I know you're trying to figure out which one's the best way for you. You can find hundreds of variables out there, but because first-time homebuyers have been completely ignored by the entire real estate industry for the last 50 or 100 years, now that we live in the age of the internet, all these lists, they are carefully crafted. That's why they're different. Not to educate you, not because they think this is a better way for you to get the knowledge and get confident with the process, and not to bring value to you, the customer. Nope. These are sales tools for every website that is masquerading as education. I'll show you. Let's dissect these. Now, Zillow. I've told you this before in the past, but Zillow is nothing more than a tech company who, for the last 20 years, they have spent anywhere from $20 to $40 billion. That's billion with the B, as in boy, that's a lot of money. And they've only been profitable 2 out of the last 20 years. And the investors, well, they need a giant home run from this home search playground because they want it to eventually start paying off. Let me show you the reading between the lines, profit first motivation behind the way they crafted their list. Number 1, check your credit score. Number 2, figure out how much you can afford. Number 3, get pre-approved. Number 4, find your agent. Number 5, go house hunting. Okay, so Zillow starts with credit score number 1. And yeah, that's an important step, but it's very telling that they list it as number 1. See, Zillow is the number 1 website out there. They know it. They get the most traffic, but that means they're going to get a lot of looky-loos, window shoppers, people who can't actually buy. So by making check your credit score as their number 1 step, this is simply a way for them to filter out, to weed out. They don't want the people who are unapprovable. They want to get rid of them ASAP so they don't waste their company time and dollars talking to people who can't get a loan, because that's where they make their money. And then they'll go to number 2, figure out how much you can afford. And then number 3, get pre-approved. All right, here's the hidden agenda behind this. For 20 years, Zillow has made most of its money by selling ad space to realtors, lenders, and property managers. I mean, it's a great racket for them, but it still hasn't been profitable yet. So when the new CEO took the reins in 2024, he beefed up their loan department because he wanted to start making more money. They hired thousands of new lenders. And when users on the site casually just asked for information about specific homes, they started steering the public users to apply with their lenders so they could see if they could afford that home that they want to know more about. Now, so far, this change has increased their volume of loans by 80% to the tune of $812 million in company profits. So when you understand all these details, it's really quite easy to see their game plan. This is not a move to increase the value to you, the user, creating the list this way. And in fact, they're currently defendants in 3 different lawsuits calling this steering practice misleading to the buyers and weakening their power in their transaction thanks to all the hidden charges that come with their steering. And hey, Zillow isn't the only online source putting get your pre-approval at the very top of their step-by-step list for first-time homebuyers. And for years, I've been trying to spill the tea on this red flag. There is a nasty truth behind why get your pre-approval keeps popping up online right at the top. And if you didn't know any better, which of course, a lot of first-time home buyers don't know, that's why they're going to the internet. Well then, if you look around for a little bit, it seems like, hey, this is an industry standard practice. It's like the thing you have to do before you move forward. All first-time home buyers must get pre-approved first. Feels like it's a law. And then they tell you, hey, don't even bother to call a realtor until you know your number. You want to know what you can afford. Don't bug them. Make sure you get ready first. Okay, now this sounds logical, but like all big corporations these days, the motivation behind this is completely profit-driven, not customer service-driven. This new industry standard, this false law of preparing to buy your home starts with getting your pre-approval. This is one of the biggest behind-the-scenes insider secrets of the entire first-time homebuyer universe. And for years, I've been trying to pull the curtain back on this and explain how the billionaires are conning you once again. Pre-approval, as a first step, it is not the way that buying your first home has always been done. Truly, it didn't used to be this way pre-internet. This way of home shopping is new, and it's not in the buyer's best interest. Pre-internet, you walked into a real estate office, and then you ended up talking to, guess what? A realtor. Now, once the realtor sat down and they had taken the time to do something that you don't hear a lot about on the internet, somebody listening to you, to understand everything about your financial and your personal goals. This home purchase, it entails a whole bunch of your goals, your dreams, your wishes, both financially and emotionally. So that realtor, first thing they do is they do all that, and then they work with you and they lay out a preliminary pre-planning path that's going to work with your best intentions and all of your goals as the main thrust for that plan. Now, once that was all done, eventually, they're going to guide you a little bit more, and they're going to have you speak with maybe a few different lenders to see how your finances align with your goals for buying a home. Sometimes they'll have you talk to one of the big banks, or maybe a credit union, or perhaps a mortgage broker, so you can hear multiple different options. That's the goal, for you to hear multiple different options and get multiple different action plans. Then, once you find one that works with all the goals that you've already discussed with the realtor, well then, the three of you, the realtor, the lender, and you all work together to build your best strategy with one common goal in mind, your goal, in whatever timing and whatever circumstances work the best for you. Well, that's the way it used to be, and then the internet happened. And here's the trade secret that I'm pretty sure most of the first-time home buyers out there don't know. This is the reason you are being fed misinformation about pre-approval first. The story goes like this. Back in the early 2000s, when the dot-com internet explosion was happening, the national lenders, they were in all 50 states. And they started using the internet because they realized, oh my gosh, I can get buyers from everywhere all over the country. Well, your local realtors, they just work in one small geographic region. So tossing a ton of money into an educational website, especially way back then, it was not cost effective for them. But the national lenders had an idea. They went to the big investors who were crawling all over each other to throw money at any new thing that was happening on the internet. It was nuts back then. It was like the crypto frenzy times a million. Well, those big national lenders, they wanted some of that sweet, sweet free cash because they thought, hey, we could build a new electronic lending machine. So they said to the investors, hey, first-time home buyers, they're going to start using this new interweb thing to figure out how to buy a home. They're very confused, and a lot of them are clueless on the process. So if you give my website millions of dollars, we can build a company online and we can capture them as customers, and then we can make billions. We'll change the game. And we'll tell them that they need to get pre-approved first, and that means we'll get the loan. And then after that, I mean, who knows? Maybe we can even sell ad space to the realtors. They always want the new, coolest marketing, and those banner ads are really hot right now. This could be a cash cow. That's how it happened. That's the why and the how behind this new so-called industry standard rule of get your pre-approval first. It benefits the corporations, not the clients. That's how it was born. The online must-do first-time homebuyer lists, all the things you find out there, they're pure sales tactics. It's mass business, not customer service. The investors, they didn't see profits in backing your local first-time homebuyer specialized realtors. They didn't want to build an internet version of quality first-time homebuyer education. The geographic market was too small. It doesn't have enough customers, and they didn't see any return. And that's exactly why every single year at the Super Bowl, you'll see a Rocket Mortgage ad, but you're not going to see one from a realtor in Minneapolis who specializes in educating first-time homebuyers on what to do in the months and years before you're ready to start your house hunt. There's no money in that. So today, the internet is so flooded with get pre-approved first. That's the first step. That consumers think that, well, this must be the only way that you buy a home. This omnipresent sales hook is officially mislabeled, go get your pre-approval first, as the new truth, when there was an old system that gave far better service and absolutely the most value to the first-time homebuyers. And that still exists. Now, going back to our story in the early 2000s, the big real estate brokers, unable to compete with the massive budgets from the investors who were giving gobs and gobs of cash to the online lenders, well, they did nothing to correct it, and they still haven't done anything. Back then, they just gave up. They shifted their entire industry, bringing in new realtors, training them up. Well, they said, you know what? Let's forget building a business that offered pre-planning services to first-time homebuyers. And so the old practice of training realtors to be your guide, that disappeared. And so did your best chance of getting the most value from your real estate team. Instead of getting a team of advocates with your realtor and lender working together as a unit focusing on the best strategies for your goals, today, realtors and lenders are only trained to just make the sale. Let them do all the work and get ready. That falls on them now. That's how most of the industry is trained. But the good news is you can still find the old full-service team. Like I said, it does still exist, but thanks to this new internet lie, plus the fact that big real estate for 50 or 100 years, they've been ignoring first-time homebuyers, this type of team that gives you the most value, it's harder to find than the damn cancellation link for that app that you bought 3 years ago. So I wanted to give you a little bit of hope there, but that is the real story behind Get Pre-Approved First. It's just a big lie. It's nothing more than a gigantic sales pitch masquerading as the simple roadmap to home ownership, which conveniently tells you that your first step is with their company so they can toss you into their profit machine. And all the big websites and all the big companies, they all do the same thing. Look at the other lists. Check out this pattern. Best Money. It's a financial preparedness site, right? They help you with car loans and home loans and all different financial stuff. Their step number 1, prepare your finances. Step number 2, define your wants and needs. Now, of course, a finance website, they're going to put prepare your finances number 1. But this number 2 is interesting. They go to define your wants and needs. And then they put number 3 as get pre-approved for a loan. Number 4, hire a realtor. And number 5, start house shopping. Well, now that you know what to look for, you understand that number 1, the intention behind that is finances first, so you can use their services, debt consolidation, credit cards, and personal loans. And then they strategically put that needs and wants as number 2. But you know why they do that? Because they know that they want to get you, the consumer, emotionally excited. And then it's right into pre-approval for a mortgage, which happens to be one of the main sources of their company profits. All right, now we'll look at NerdWallets. Their number 1, decide. Of course, that was as of 2024, a year after the list showed up here on the podcast. I'm just saying. Number 2, get your finances in order. Now, again, they have a myriad of services in this category, and not to mention the fact that it's pretty much all the ads on the site are for financial services. Number 3, determine your budget. Another area. NerdWallet is one of the industry leaders in offering services to assist with budgeting, including their own budgeting app. Number 4, save for down payment and closing costs. Boy, how do you save? Budget, use an app. Number 5, choose a lender. And guess what? Their site still makes money on that. Number 6, get pre-approved. There it is, down to number 6. At least that's encouraging. And then number 7, find an agent and a realtor. And number 8, start house hunting. So now I'm sure you can see it. That's the real story behind these people that supposedly are out there to help you with this overwhelming first-time home buying process. 98% of these lists, they're in the wrong order, and most of the time it's for the wrong reasons. So what we have here is an entire industry that has shifted to offering the least amount of guidance, pre-planning, and customer service. And who are they doing that for? First-time homebuyers, the people who need the greatest amount of service coaching and professional guidance. And you know what really bums me out? It's the thing that isn't making it to the top of the Google search. Nobody's writing about first-time homebuyer power, about your control, about your ability to search and hire a real estate support team that's going to offer the highest level of service. Don't sell yourself short on this. This is way too enormous a task for you and pretty much everything that's going to be happening in your future. I know it feels like you have less and less of a choice these days, but you don't. There's a ton of industries out there where, as a consumer, you actually don't have choice. The monopolies, I don't know what is going on with the antitrust laws in our country. They're just like gone. Everything's unregulated. Gas, utilities, internet providers, I mean, you pretty much just get what you get and you only got one choice. Well, big real estate is trying to prey on your fear and complacency that you think that that's the way it works there too. But hidden in the corners of this corrupt industry, there still are consumer-centric service providers, people who are going to put your interests first. There's hope for you. I'm here to let you know you still have power and you can still use it. And yeah, I want you to make sure you look out for the red flags. And yes, the best way for you to buy your home, I understand, it's not as readily available to the public as it should be. And frankly, that's criminal. So I know I'm just one dude on the mic, but I'm telling you, like almost everything out there the internet tells you, it's not the best way for people to buy a house. There are far more efficient and protective paths to home ownership. Plain and simple, you should be out there demanding the most value from the pros that you hire. Period. The end, curtain. And isn't that the way that it should work? I mean, here you are, you're a consumer. When you hire a professional, don't you always want to find the best service for the most value? That's where you get your power. And to get your confidence, you want to start with your research, with the education. And here on the podcast, it's all free. Has been since 2019. No signups. I don't even let sponsors pay me to produce this podcast. Too many of them who want to advertise here, they're not about service first. Since 2006, the list I've been giving away to everybody for free. In the podcast, we're ad-free. And you don't need to sign up to get the rest of the important details that this list doesn't tell you about. Doesn't tell you about. It's all here. What is this episode, like 474? Something like that? What I'll do is I'll put the episode guide for you in the show notes. Check it out. That's where you can get honest answers, tools, tips, and tactics, all for free. Whatever your question is, trust me, it's freaking in there somewhere. It doesn't cost you anything. The format here is listen to everything as many times as you want. Listen to all of it, and you don't ever have to reach out to me. I don't care. No worries here. I'm here to educate first and serve the people who ask for it. First-time homebuyers, it's a bomb deal you got going on right now. And the goal here is to serve you with education and knowledge. And damn, man, today in 2026, it is more important than ever for you to build a quality real estate support team that you can lean on. Find somebody that you can trust who has your best interest at heart. Because today, the pre-planning, it's, I don't know, pick your adjective. Vital, crucial, critical, essential, core, freaking non-negotiable. You've got to do it today, and it's got to start with the foundation, or this whole thing is really going to smack you in the face a few times. Use your power. Don't get funneled into the grind you up machine of big real estate. I mean, if you do that, can you buy a home? Sure. But you know what? You don't have to. Be exceptional. You can do this.
Looking for more DIY education or your own personal step-by-step guidance through the home buying journey? Since 2019, How to Buy a Home has been the #1 resource for first-time home buyers. So visit howtobuyahome.com to get started.